Welcome in, folks. We have some good stuff for you. This is going to be episode 1 of a new show. We're calling it The Lab. Now, what does the Lab stand for? It could go a lot of different directions, but of course, this is a Michigan-centered podcast. The Lab stands for the leaders and the best. I'm joined by Blake Corum, but before we get to that, we have to say this show is presented by Champion Circle. Champion Circle is an official partner of Michigan Athletics. And with that in mind, as we just talked about the community, head over to Champion Circle U of M, the letter U of the letter M.com, Champion Circle U of M.com to support your favorite athletes in Michigan athletics. Be a part of this community. So without further ado, I just want to preview this a little bit, Blake, because I'm really excited for a number of reasons. Of course, we'll get into the changing from camp to game week. It's week 1, under a week from the first game. But just to let the fans know that this is going to be something that they are going to have really private access to you. And we'll do this show every Sunday throughout the season and going forward, where we can talk a little bit about where you're at as an individual, where the team's at, preview some of the bigger picture narratives, talk some life, as you said. So I'm super excited to do this show with you, Blake. And maybe you could just say something for the fans that they're going to get the chance to talk to you throughout the season.
Yeah. I'm super excited to do this with you as well, man. This is going to be really exciting. Letting the fans get a closer experience to what we go through during the week, during the season. We might bring some special guests on, some other teammates, maybe some alum. This is going to be the podcast for the fans. So, it's going to be really exciting. Two Michigan, one legend in the making. So this is going to be great, man. I'm super excited.
That in mind, there was some news that broke last week, and I can go back to this is a good way to tee it off because you're in camp and it's a grind, and we can tell fans a little bit about what that grind's like. But right towards the end of camp is, I think, once this vote happens, it's when things get a little bit real. And for you being a veteran guy, you've been in the program for a number of years. Of course, I'm talking about the captain's vote. And I remember my senior year, it was literally just kind of like you'd expect it, almost like Survivor, where Coach Harbaugh would announce that we're voting for the captains. Each person would get a little piece of paper and they would write down some of the names that they wanted to represent them as a team. Myself and Chris Wormley, I was the offensive captain. Chris Wormley was the defensive captain. And it was just an absolute honor. Some teams do it differently. Some teams, the coaches pick it. Some teams, I don't know exactly their voting system, but I know at least when it was my time, it was voted on by the players, by the guys in the locker room. Is that still going on with Coach Harbaugh and your guys this year? And how did you find out? Can you just give us a little preview of how that went down and when you knew you were going to be captain?
This year was a little different for me, especially. I've wanted to be a captain since, the first day I entered the building. I've kind of worked my way up. When I first got here, I kind of listened to like Ben Mason. I latched onto him. He kind of showed me the way. And then there was, Josh Ross, and Aiden. They were great captains. And then last year, we had some great captains as well. And, when you come back, say you were a senior, you come back for your 5th year, you're automatically captain. So Mikey was automatically, picked captain. And probably like week 2 into camp, we were in team meeting, and Coach Harbaugh said, "You know what, guys? We're gonna make Blake captain. Everyone always votes for him with everything else. Like last year, I got all four awards, the hardest worker, like the MVP. I got all 4. My teammates voted me for all 4. Coach Harbaugh said that was like the first time or whatever. He said, we're gonna make Blake Corum captain since, there's already one defensive captain. And so we'll pick 2 more. And so, I didn't necessarily get voted on by, my teammates, but my teammates came up to me like, yeah, you were going to be captain anyway. So, it was still an honor. But yeah, we still, they hand out a piece of paper, it has all the seniors, all the 5th years. And we picked 2, and I think we have a great group of captains this year.
So that's unique. So you walked into that team meeting and it's just a traditional team meeting. You're thinking about previewing the day, going over some film. And then all of a sudden, within 5 minutes, you find out, yeah, you will be a captain. You get to realize that dream.
Yeah, caught me off guard a little bit. Like I said, it was a regular team meeting. You know, we were
Was
probably
your
going to
heart
have
racing?
it was racing a little bit because he was like, "Hey, where's Blake at?" And I'm right here, coach. You know, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, we're gonna make you captain." I'm like, "Oh, all right, yeah, I appreciate it. You know, that sounds good." And usually after you get put as captain, you go up and give the team a little speech. You know what I'm saying? And
Wise
he
words.
didn't invite me up. Yeah, little wise words, and he didn't invite me up or anything. But I was like, all right, I was ready though. I was ready.
Yeah.
But
You
I
got to
gave
stay
my
ready.
wise words. I gave my wise words. Last week when everyone got voted captain. Uh, yeah, so I'm blessed to be captain, man. It wasn't the normal experience, but it was definitely an experience.
Congratulations, man. And just something real subtle before we move on to some of the season preview. As you were talking about the hardest worker and some of the things that you were voted on by your teammates last year, you just your smile got bigger and bigger. And I know Michigan fans, man, you were in the Heisman race. I thought you had a chance. If it wasn't for the injury in the Illinois game, I was ready to pick you as the Heisman last year. But the funny thing is the smile that you just had when you were talking about the hardest worker and those types of awards. That seems to
Yeah,
be what motivates you, right? Like you like that almost more than the external awards. And the funny thing is, when you embrace hard work, the external awards come anyways.
you're right. You're right, and I do. Those awards, is what puts a smile on my face. Yeah, the Heisman would have been great. You know what I'm saying? Doak Walker, great. It would have been even better if I just didn't get hurt. But those work ethic awards, the blue collar award, MVP. I have them all four of them side by side on my wall, and being voted by your teammates for those awards, it means something
Yeah.
different because they see the work you're putting in. They know you're willing to get dirty. You're willing to lay it on the line. And so that means a lot to me, man.
Yeah.
As it, probably, you were one of those guys too. You're one of them hard
Yeah.
workers. As soon as you came into Michigan, so
Yeah.
it means a lot, man.
Like those, it's not like, I mean, I know you're a humble dude. Like I wanted to work hard every day just because like that was the standard. But it's not
Yeah,
like, I mean, dudes work hard, right? It's not like you're doing anything to, there's other dudes that are working hard. So it's that much more of an honor, right? When they say, hey man, I know I work hard, but I see what Blake's doing. Man, I got to vote for that guy. The blue collar award, right? Did you guys the work shirts, right? Coach
yeah.
Harbaugh, you can, for the Michigan fans, you can go Google this. You can go all the way back to his days in the 49ers, and I'll tell you a quick story. We'd have these work shirts that he would hand out in camp. And it was basically like embracing the hard work, the lunch pail mentality, the blue collar. So in the NFL, when you travel on planes, you typically wear suits. And at the time, they had Randy Moss playing for the Niners, and Coach Harbaugh gave him a little flexibility on what they could wear. And Randy Moss, being Randy Moss, and when you're Randy Moss, you can do a little bit of whatever you want. He came onto the plane in sweatpants and his work shirt, couple buttons unbuttoned too. Totally not that was a new thing in the NFL. But as Coach Harbaugh, when he likes something, he likes something. So it became a thing. They all started to wear their work shirts back in the day. So to tie that all back in, what was the blue collar award? Did you get like a special, really nice work shirt, or did you get
The
anything
blue
with it?
collar war, we already have, I already have my work shirt, I have my work jacket, uh, I got my boots, and then so the only thing I'm missing now, so this year, when we win on the first away game, he'll give you like a tool little box or whatever. It has some
Yeah.
tools in it, and so now I'll be a complete, blue collar guy. But
What about a pair of cargo pants or something?
hey, those might come next. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That might you might have to stay a fifth year to get those, but it's cargo pants. But I know with the
Work
toolbox,
towel
it
that
was
you
like
can throw over the shoulder.
exactly. I did a screwdriver, hammer. I think you have everything you need, but that blue collar shirt I already had that, so I have a nice plaque. It has my name on it, blue collar award. Sitting right in my office, man. It looks good. I'll dust it off every now and then, but she looks good.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, you have to be blue collar, and this is something I know all too well. is and injuries are part of the game, right? They happen to anybody. There's no reason trying to figure out why me or why this happened or what if it didn't happen, right? Injuries can happen to anyone at any time. And I talked to Ronnie last year, when he's coming back from his ACL, and it's great to see him, man. He's had a heck of a preseason with the Niners,
He's
but then
killing it. He's killing
it, man. Killing it. Not just looks like he might he's a chance to make a roster spot out there. But for you, Blake,
most definitely.
I know you've talked about this a bunch, man, but can you take us into that moment, right? So that play, and I know I dealt with so many knee injuries. It's crazy. I knew every time what happened to my knee as soon as it happened. Do you remember, running down that right sideline? It was on the Illinois sideline going into half, right? Did you know what happened? Like, just take us into that moment and when you head back to the locker room.
I'm getting some chills thinking about it. But, going into half, like I told everyone, that was supposed to be my last game, man. I was going into that game, and I should have just been with my feet, or I shouldn't even been thinking about the future. But I was going into that game, and this is my last game in the big house. I got to end with a bang, and I was already over 100 yards. I'm like, all right, this gonna be a game. You know what I'm saying? Illinois had a great defense too. They were stacking the box, but we were still able to run on them. And I busted to the, like you said, the right sideline, Illinois sideline, and I think my leg gets caught in the ground, right? And dude just come and takes my knee out, and I hear a pop. And as soon as it popped, it started burning. I'm like, damn, I'm on the ground holding it for a second because it was burning. It was like on fire, like this burning sensation. It would not go away. I'm like, dang, like in my head, like, what the heck was that? And the burning sensation finally went away. I go up into the locker room. They check my ligaments. They make sure the ACL good. ACL's fine. So I'm like, shit, all right, I'm coming back out after halftime. You know what I'm saying? I come back out, warm up during halftime. I'm like, shit, I don't know about this. I'm trying to cut and stuff, but the mentality we have, he's like, all right, I'm gonna push through it. You know what I'm saying? My first run back in after half. It might have been like a 5-yard run, but it did not feel good at all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me. We have a big week next week. Let me go. I think the team might be able to get this one done. You know what I'm saying? And it was a nail biter.
They fought.
They fought. And
shout out to Jake Moody.
Before I keep going, Jake Moody and Isaiah Gash. You always have to be ready. Donovan wasn't playing. I got hurt. That was the next man up. Isaiah Gash, he didn't think he was going to be able to get in that game. You know what I'm saying? But he stayed ready. You know what I'm saying? That's why you always have to stay ready in life. But, after that, I get an MRI. The next day, I have my turkey drive. That's kind of all I'm thinking about. But, I go and see the doctor in the morning. He's like, your ACL is good. MCL. You have a sprain in MCL. But, you tore your meniscus. It's like, all right, how bad is that? You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, it can't really get worse. I was like, can I play on it? He's like, yeah, you can play on it. You can try. And so, I'm getting a bunch of rehab all week. And, it's about Thursday. I say, hey, coach, I'm going to play. He stops practice and is like, everyone, Blake's going to play. And, I go into the Ohio State game, man. And, all I'm thinking about, I got my big brace on. All I can think about is just
taped
winning.
up.
Taped up. I might, pop the Advil or something, ibuprofen. I don't know, just making sure the knee's good. And I was going in with the mindset like, shit, it can't get worse. So I'm going to get everything I have. And first play, get a run, 2-yard run, tried to cut. It just kept giving out, it had no stability. I tried to chip the DN. I was actually watching it the other day. I tried to chip the DN, and there was no power behind, my chip. And so that's when I was like, you know what, hey coach, that's all I got. The better man has to go in if we want to win this game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the better man right now. And then, that's all she wrote. Next week I was out in Cali getting surgery.
Yeah. Man. There's so much to unpack there. Yeah, because I remember watching the Illinois game, and when you came back in, and then even I was down on the field with Fox and the Big Ten Network pregame, watching you warm up. And listen, I mean, you're so explosive and you run so low to the ground. You make these, you're so patient. You make these explosive cuts. You talk about the power on the chip block. Like, man, your whole body got to, these are big dudes
Yeah.
coming off the edge. You got to stone them, right? So your whole body has to go into it. And you kind of know, man, like the funny thing is with meniscus is I've played on meniscus and I haven't played on meniscus. I've torn a meniscus and I played for 4 months on it. I've torn a meniscus and I couldn't walk on it. And it's
Right.
completely different, right? So you just don't know. What was that moment like when you, because that's not you, man. Like that's not you, right? And but you had
Yeah.
to do it. That's that paradox, right? To say, coach, man, I can't do this today. I don't have it today.
Yeah. I mean, it was tough, man. Because not only at the moment it wasn't even about me. You know what I'm saying? It was more so about the team. Like, dang, like,
Yeah.
am I letting y'all down? You know what I'm saying? But at the moment, like I didn't have nothing left to give. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally could not cut. Like I could not explode. I wasn't me at all. You know what I'm saying? There were a bunch of other running backs on the team that would have been better, being in there than me. You know what I'm saying? And so it was tough. It was definitely tough because me, I'm like, damn, I'm letting my team down. Then I go
Yeah.
get surgery. I'm watching. I'm in Cali watching the Big Ten championship on the TV, and then I drive to Arizona because I was already in Cali, and then I feel like I left them down again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On the sidelines, I couldn't make no plays. You know
Yeah.
how that is. It's just like, dang, like what if I was in there? What would I have done? But you can't even think like that. But it's hard not
Yeah.
to.
Tell the fans, man, because that's the funny thing is you've highlighted it well, just what it means to be on a team. Like coach, you tell coach you're playing, and coach stops practice, and everybody comes up. He
Yeah.
said Blake's playing, and you can like that smile, that relief, like you're like, all right, yeah, I'm playing, right? You get that boost. So you're part
Yeah.
of the team, but then you're watching the game from the hospital bed post surgery. You're still part of the team, but not really, right? And like that just kind of tell the fans about the joy you have for your team as a whole, but like the hurt as an individual, if that's the right word, of wanting to be out there but not able to be
Yeah.
out there. Can you just give us a little preview of that?
Yeah, it's like mixed emotions, you know what I'm saying? When I was laying in the bed, you know, post surgery, watching the Big Ten championship game, at halftime it was a close one. And so in my head, I'm like, damn, I'm letting them down right now. Maybe I could have waited a week, maybe that bone bruise, because they were telling me a bunch of things. The meniscus
Yeah.
really isn't hurting you. It's the bone bruise from the
Yep.
hyperextension and the MCL.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, maybe my meniscus isn't hurting. So then I started thinking like, dang, what if I would have just got treatment another week? Maybe that pain that I was feeling where I couldn't cut and explode would have gone away. You know what I'm saying? So I started thinking about that, watching the Purdue game.
Mm.
And we pulled that one off, right? And so I drive down to Arizona to be with the team for the TCU game. And that might have been even harder than watching it from the bed because I'm on the field. I feel the grass, I can see the
Yeah.
sweat, I can see the opponent. And that was tough because it's like, I feel like I could do so much, but I could do so little, you know? And it's like, if I was out there, I know I'd make a play, but I can't. The only thing I can do is try to bring my teammates up, tell
Yeah.
them what I see from the sidelines, and it, it's tough, when it's good, I'm smiling, that's my team, I'm still, I'm there, I'm there. If I'm not there, I'm there in spirit. And then, when we're losing, I'm like, damn, I feel like I'm letting them down. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's tough.
Hey man, listen, like I don't want to spend too much time talking about right? Like hey, you did a good job of painting the challenge, and here's the truth: there's no good story, there's no good hero story, there's no good movie if there isn't a challenge, right? That's any good story. You got to have a
Right?
challenge, and then you got to have
Gotcha.
something, and with the challenge, there's something to overcome. So, give us some of the highlights of your recovery, how you the mental side of it, and then when did you know you were good? Because you've been talking. I mean, you said, "Listen, man, I feel 100%." And I saw you at camp
Yeah.
when we did the tour. You look great. So just kind of paint that picture, how recovery went and where you're at now.
Yeah, with MCL, you're 6 weeks not non-weight bearing, right? So my meniscus, not ACL.
Yep.
Um meniscus. So those 6 weeks were a little tough, You know what I'm saying? I had to recruit. I had to get my mentals right. Uh, especially losing at TCU, and then I was trying to figure out, am I coming back? Am I going to NFL? There was a lot. There was a lot going on. Um, and so I would say, as soon as I came off those 6 weeks were tough. Probably
Yeah.
some of the darkest moments I've been in, because I like working. You know what I'm saying? I'm always
Yeah.
in the gym every day. And I couldn't. I couldn't do upper body. So I'm not gonna say I couldn't, but my mentals, where I was at, I just didn't want to. So I had to claw and grab and get my mind right. Like, hey, bro, this is something small, man. You tripping over some meniscus surgery. Like this is something small. There's way bigger problems out there. And I was telling people the other
Mm.
day, like, I appreciate this. At the time I didn't, but I learned to appreciate this challenge, because I feel like it made me stronger. It gave me a better perspective on life, and so those 6 weeks were the toughest. But I clawed out that hole. And then after that 6 weeks, I attacked everything, man. My workouts, my rehab. And it was a fun process. You know what I'm saying? From going on crutches to, all right, now we're in the Alter G on 60% running on the moon, and then now we're on turf. It was the process. I started to fall in love with the process again, like when I was young, trying to get to where I'm at. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so it was good. It turned out to be I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful
Yeah.
for this challenge.
The Alter G is sweet, man. So when I tore my ACL going to my sophomore year, that was back in the spring or the late winter of 2014, and they had just got it. And people are like, "What's an Alter
Okay.
G running on the moon?" Man, it's this treadmill the treadmill you get strapped in, and you're
Yep.
wearing this suit, and they fill it up with air so you can reduce your body weight. Like for you and me, same thing. Like you start off running at like 50-60%. You're barely putting any weight on it. Feels so weird. You're
Mhm.
running before you really can run. It's crazy. But you touch
Yeah.
on something. I just think this is such great conversation, man, just about this because it's the man in the arena, man. The adversity, it introduces you to yourself, and it's this paradox of like, man, how could you ever say like this was a great thing to happen to me? How could you ever
Right.
say that I'm thankful for this? But man, it's such a great opportunity, man. You're a leader not just for your team, but for the Michigan community. Like beyond that, for the next generation, you're a leader because of who you are as a person, and who you are as a person is what allowed you to overcome this. Um, it's basically you're a living example to people that are going through a tough time. And I know there's people that are listening to the show that everyone's got their day-to-day challenges, and you can make that little tweak, man, that little tweak where you're saying, this isn't a big deal. It is a big deal, right? It is a big deal,
Yeah.
and it isn't a big deal. The surgery, it's not a big deal. There is bigger problems. It is a big deal too. Where did that start? Like wait, that's I knew I was a hard worker, and I knew I was mentally tough, but every time I was challenged with adversity, it was like a repetition for me to confirm that mindset, to say, man, you know what? No matter what life throws at me, I'm good. And for you, this was some of the biggest adversity. So when did this start? Was this one of the first times that you had to realize your true strength because of the challenge ahead of you?
Yeah. I feel like, just over my lifetime in general, there's been some adversity here and there, right? And I've always been the type of person, when someone is going through adversity, I try to give them good advice. Hey, you're gonna get through this. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna be fine. Like, hey, this something minor.
Yeah.
It's something big, but it's also something minor. Like, there's way worse out there. You know what I'm saying? Be blessed, be happy. And so I had to practice what I preached. And for a second, I started questioning, like, damn, like, why did this happen? You know what I'm saying? I'm having this great year. I might have won the Heisman. I'm dope. A year, I think I'm going to NFL. I started asking myself, why is this happening? And then I started thinking, like, hold on. Yeah, I gotta practice what I preach. I tell when everyone else is going through something, I'm giving great advice. Hey, you're gonna get through this. You know what I'm saying? Hey, there's bigger problems out there. Trust me. Like, this is something small. I'm always trying to lift people up when they're down. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to think to myself, like, hold on, this is something small. This is just a meniscus. It could have been meniscus and ACL. It could have been a longer, a worse surgery. So like once I started, I felt bad for myself. That was the problem. I felt bad for myself for a second,
Hmm.
and once I stopped feeling bad for myself and realizing like, people would love to be in my position. People would love to tear their meniscus to play for Michigan. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Um, once I switched my mindset and practiced what I preached, I was like, you know what? This is just a challenge, man. This is just a little obstacle I got to overcome. I'm gonna come out on the other end way stronger. Um, and that's why I was telling people that like I appreciate this. You know what I'm saying? Because the perspective it allowed me to not just see someone else go hit rock bottom and try to lift them up, but I hit a little down spot. I'm not gonna say it's rock
Yeah.
bottom. You know what I'm saying? But a setback, and
Yep.
it made me, you know, live what I'm speaking to other people, if that makes sense. So,
Makes sense.
it was good, man.
Hey, and we started this conversation talking about how you were voted. Well, kind of bypassed voting. Actually, it was just so clear you became a captain, and you were given advice before you were captain. But now this perspective makes you that much better of a leader, right? Like you can lead people better. So I'm excited for you for that, man. Listen, it's game week, and you just wrapped up camp.
It's
How you
game week,
feeling?
man.
This is but we're not even talking about the like you're good now. Now it's talking about what we can do this year, right? Like you're we're not talking about the injury anymore. You're sitting here saying,
Uh,
hey, how great can we be this year?
yeah, like someone asked me the other day, they were like, "Hey, how's your bad knee?" I said, "Man, this ain't no bad knee. This a good knee, man. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?" So
Don't speak that on
I'm
the
feeling
knees, bro. I would say the
don't,
same
don't
thing.
speak
I
that on
don't
the
have a
knee.
bad knee.
I don't have a bad knee. This knee is great. So I feel great, man. The way we attack camp, Coach Harbaugh, he took care of us. You know what I'm saying? You know, camp was hard, but he took care of our bodies as well. You know what I'm saying? So we
Yeah.
appreciate him for that. It was a great camp. We put in a lot of great work. And I think that where we're at team wise, we're ready, man. We're ready. And like I preached to all the guys is, hey, be where your feet are, man. It's easy to
Yeah.
look ahead. It's easy to dream. But if we want to get to where we're saying and we want to get, we had to focus on ECU. We had to focus on UNLV. We had to focus on Bowling Green. We had to focus on them. You know what I'm saying? We can't think too far because if we lose now, just like, what was that, '06 when they lost to Appalachian State?
Yeah. Yeah.
They had a great team.
Yeah.
They had a great team. They had Mike Hart. And so, even though we have a great team, we still have to put in that work. And that's what we've been doing, man. Camp was hard, but Coach Harbaugh took care of us. But we built that callus. And now we're just ready to, we're ready to prepare. We've been preparing for ECU, which is a great team. They had a great year last year. They made a bowl game. They won their bowl game. Great defense, great offense. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited to just get back out there with the boys and face an opponent finally.
Yeah. You guys earned that right, man. You earned the right for Coach Harbaugh to take care of you. Not every team. Listen, man. If you weren't good, if you weren't producing, if you haven't earned that trust, you might have, and you still put your hand in the dirt and work, but you have to earn the right for your coach to take care of you through trust. This is the fun time of year, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because I'm looking at it Sunday, late August. Let's see what it is, August 27th. So you go through camp and school isn't in session yet. So like campus is quiet too. Like there's
Yeah.
not much going on. And then you pivot from camp, you get out of you get to stay, at your own place. You get back into your rhythm, and then it's welcome week around school. So you already have the buzz of week one, you have the buzz of the season. There was a slate of
Mm-hmm.
games yesterday, week 0. That was a good preview. But then the
Yes.
students start to get back on campus with welcome week, and just give the fans what that's like too, especially with the expectations around the team, what it's like to walk around campus, maybe go get a bite to eat during the week. What's
Oh
that
man.
change like?
Oh man. It's great. It's great. You walk around. You might feel like the big man on campus. You know what I'm saying?
You've
You
earned that
start a
right
football
too.
team. You know what I'm saying? So, it's great. You go to a restaurant, you see a lot of people. Hey, I can't wait to see you play. Can I get a picture? It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, okay, all this work I'm putting in, and this is what I get out of it. It's amazing. We love the fans. We love our classmates. Um, so it makes you feel good. So
Mhm.
like I said, camp's hard. It's real quiet. But as soon as you get out, like you said, there's so much going on. People moving in. Welcome week. Classes start tomorrow. So it's great. But let me tell you something. So I have the best schedule right now. I only have class on Friday. So the way I set this up was, I came back right and to get my degree, but I only have one credit left. So really, it's all ball. What I'm saying, I have the best schedule right now, Jake. It's crazy.
It's the dry run at the NFL, bro. You can take care of
Exactly,
your body.
exactly.
You can take care of your body. That is, man, that's freedom.
Oh, it's great. It's
What
great.
class is it?
It's an
No, it's
independent study.
I took an independent study too with the sociology teacher, and we did it on an awesome book that I found those to be really fun because it's one on one. It's similar to coaching, right? Like you're meeting with an expert in the field, and
Yeah,
the fact that you have the freedom to pick something you're passionate about, lean into that, bro. I mean, that'll be something I think you'll really enjoy throughout the fall. Listen,
it's gonna be fun
I could talk to you for an hour, hour and a half, but we got to make sure. Listen, Michigan fans, we're going to be doing this all seasons. Every single
all
Sunday, we're
season,
going to
man.
be pumping out a show. So we're going to make sure you guys have plenty to look forward to. Blake, with that in mind, and as we wrap this down, as we wrap this show up, you look at the start of the season and here's what I know, at least from my experience, is once it starts, you blink and it's over. Like
Oh
once you
man.
get into that battle rhythm, this thing starts rolling. So you being the high character guy you are, do you write down your goals? Do you guys talk about goals as a team? Because I've heard you guys talk about, the expectations for this season, and a lot of people are picking you guys to make a serious run. just
Yeah.
just talk to me and talk to our listeners about your personal goals, how you go about writing those down, and some of the conversations you guys have in the locker room surrounding the season.
Yeah, we do talk about goals. And I have all my goals, team goals, individual goals written, in my room. And like I tell everyone else, it starts with the team goals, because with team success comes individual success. And to be quite frankly, like last year, like I never even thought about winning that, like being in a Heisman race. I didn't even think about, winning a Doak Walker. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even think about that stuff. But as we started winning, as the team started doing good, as the line, everyone just started getting recognized for all these, different races. You know what I'm saying? So it starts with the team, man. You know, like I said, the team awards, win each and every game. Especially those big ones. The way I look at it, all of them are big, but the big ones, the Michigan
Yeah.
State, the Penn State, Ohio State. You have to win those. And then win the Big Ten championship, win a CFP game to get us into the national championship opportunity.
Mhm.
So those are the team goals. And like I tell everyone, like with those, everything that might come my way or could come my way, or every opportunity that may come is going to present itself. You know what I'm saying? The Doak Walker, the Heisman, whatever it may be. And so I'm really just focused on the team, man. I'm focused on making sure my team's ready each and every week. All the guys are, ready to go to war with each other, looking to the man on your left and your right, and like, hey, I got your back. Because if we do that, this team's scary. This team's scary because there's so many
Yeah.
great players on the team, and so those are kind of my goals. Just really the team goals, and as the season goes on, everything else, individual wise, will take care of itself.
Yeah. First few weeks, coach, you guys will be without Coach Harbaugh on the sidelines on Saturdays. And I
Yeah.
made the case. I said, with all the expectations and the fact that you're so veteran, and just talking to you, the leader you are, and I know there's a bunch of leaders on this team on both sides of the football. How are you guys
hmm
embracing that challenge? Like, what's the mindset, understanding that Coach won't be there physically on the sidelines with you early in the season?
It just kind of lit another fire under us. Like I said, we were talking the other day when we score. We're gonna throw up the four for Coach Harbaugh, but it's really he gonna be there all week, up until Friday at midnight, preparing us, doing what he does. And he won't be there on Saturdays, but we're gonna win for him, and just like, Coach Moore got suspended for the first game. Um, Coach Hart, Coach Campbell, Coach Grant Newsom. They'll be able to play that role, Coach Moore's role, and
Yeah.
we're just gonna play for those guys. We know the expectation. We know what we have to do, and we're gonna get the job done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We'll definitely miss Coach Moore first game. Definitely miss Coach Harbaugh, but you know they're gonna be there in spirit, and they'll be there during the week. And we just gotta handle business on Saturday.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited to see the sidelines and how you embrace this challenge. I'll be watching that. Listen, as we wind this down, I think it's always fun this part of the year. Give the fans like who's a young guy. I know the
There's a
easy
couple,
one are
man.
like Colston, Will Johnson. Who's someone that people aren't
Yeah.
talking about that fans should look out for? Who's someone that's going to make a
I'm gonna
splash?
go. I'm gonna go freshman, and we have some talented freshmen, especially from what I've seen on the offensive side with Fred Moore, Carmelo, and Samaj. Those
Okay,
three receivers, those three receivers, be on the lookout because I
okay.
promise you they're elusive, they're mature, real mature to be freshmen, and they're fast. So what I've seen from camp, they've been killing it, man. They've been killing. I expect really big things from them. I expect them to be in the games, uh, and I expect them to carry themselves. Like they're like they're going to get in. What I'm saying, prepare each and every week. Study a lot of film, and I'm gonna make sure they carry themselves that way because we're gonna need them. We're gonna need them,
Mhm.
and the way they've been proving themselves during camp, they're gonna play. Those three receivers, they're gonna play.
Oh man, listen, I'm so fired up. And you know what makes their job easier? When the opponent has to load the box to stop the run, and the big fellas up there doing their job, you get them some one-on-one matchups. So,
Oh
listen,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
this has been awesome. I'll tell you what, I'm excited for the
Nah, this is
season.
great,
I'm
man.
excited for you as an individual. Excited to see you embrace these challenges and go show you're back to 100% health and do what you do. So, listen, we're going to be doing this every single Sunday. We'll be doing
Every
this every
Sunday.
single Sunday. We got plenty of good stuff. This could be a 2-hour show, but we're going to try to hit you with all the big stuff. So, listen, Blake, it's been a pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing you play this
Nah,
week. See you back on Sunday for another show. This has been The Lab presented by Champion Circle. You guys can find us here every single Sunday.